So I had this Muslim guy tell me something that it's not the first time I heard this weird wacky theory. So he starts, I can't remember fully I don't fully get it because I switched off pretty much as soon as he opened his mouth because it was so weird. But he basically was saying something like the Jews are inherently intelligent, and he then starts to, you know, tell me the theological reason for his amazing conclusion. He starts saying that something like they come from Ishmael or Isaac or whatever it is, right? I don't really know my kind of, you know, my roots of Islamic prophethood, but they come from one of these prophets. Pardon me. And we come from the other, and the one that they come from was the clever one. just saying it just shows how dumb some of these religiously educated Muslims are. I mean, think about this. You know, he's basically saying that we're the thickos, right? It's because our ancestor apparently was not as clever as the other ancestor, because he was the clever one, we were the dumb one. What? You're a religious Muslim and you're coming out with this stuff. And it's not the first religious Muslim to come out with this nut stuff. And always, for some reason, they're always Pakistani religious guys who say this. I've never heard an Arab guy say it. I never heard an Arab guy goes, yeah, we're the thick ones. You know, our ancestor was a thicko. Dummies. But anyway, right. God knows what will happen to him. Hopefully he's drowned somewhere. But in his own thickness. But I thought I'd quickly make a quick point about, you know, Jews being, you know, inherently clever. Their DNA is clearly cleverer than everyone else's, especially ours. Well, I suppose he's got a point if you were an observer. So if he was a observer, he may think, well, Jews are far cleverer than Muslims. Well, you know, that's like saying a rock, you know, I don't know, I'm far cleverer than a donkey, you know. Well, ain't much for competition, is it? I mean, I mean, you know, that doesn't prove the argument that you know, they're inherently cleverer. I mean, everyone's cleverer than a donkey is, aren't they? You know, he's like for like, right? So amongst humans, Jews are not particularly cleverer than anyone else. They're cleverer than Muslims, not because God made Muslims stupid. You know, we made ourselves stupid. You know, we ourselves failed, and therefore we are paying the price for our stupidity. You know, and again, Allah keeps saying in the Quran, they're digressing, but the amount of hadith and all that you see flying around the internet, you know, oh, you know, if you don't wear nail varnish, you're burning hell for, you know, 100 years. Or if you do wear nail varnish, you're going to burn 100 years. Check your trousers up, short trousers, otherwise burning 100. None of them talk about the actual Quran. You know, funny they talk about hadith all the time. I wonder if they ever pick the Quran up. But the Quran doesn't talk about any of that. But it does talk about using your brain a lot, and reasoning and thinking and considering a lot. Yeah, and God actually gets pretty vexed about people who don't use their brain. You know, only they actually pick the Quran up instead of focusing on their fashion items and how unimpressed God is with those, you know, fashion faux pas, then might not be in the mess we're in. But anyway, my view on Jews being, you know, more intelligent than us is a no. They're not clever than us. They do certain things, yeah, that we don't, and that's it. It's an act, yeah. They are of a certain wealth bracket. They're fairly rich generally, far richer than us at least, yeah. You know, the amount of Jewish billionaires far exceeds how many Western Muslim billionaires there are. You know, by 1,000,000%, I'm sure, right? So I don't even know if we have a Muslim billionaire in the West, but anyway, so what they do is they spend their money, their hard-earned money, on their children going to good schooling, private schools, etc. And because they live in richer areas, therefore they can send it to better schools. Better schools means they get better results, means they have a better quality of life and they get better jobs. Yeah. So them being in the top income bracket has nothing to do with you know, their DNA, and everything to do with their economic might. Yeah. So, you know, if you spend money, instead of buying a nice car, like many British Muslims will do, spend their money on not a nice car or another flat so they can rent out, and then instead of spending it on your children's education, you would you know, you won't be far behind them. Second thing now is they're organized. Yeah. Another thing that we're not. So, for example, you know, they work as a community to enhance community interest. We work as, well, we don't work as a community, and we don't enhance community interest at all. I can't think of a single thing that we do as a community for the community. You know, you might get a few 10 lads in and trying to do some good, but as a community, as 2 to 3 million people, no, we don't do jack. Their synagogues, their organisations create a sense of social action within the community to enhance the community. Our mosques don't do nothing but open and close for prayer, and there's no you know, nothing that goes on in there outside of that. So there's no extracurriculum schooling, good maths, good English, good extra physics classes. So poor children, which we are generally, you know, the Muslim community is, yeah, can, you know, improve their grades. So the simple, you know, thing that a flipping monkey would have thought up is, we got this 10 million pound mosque, real estate, it's always empty. Why don't we get some of the people coming in there and teaching the other children how to improve their classes, not just give them careers advice. Yeah, let's run that in that big empty building. But no, though, thickos won't, that doesn't cross their mind. So in effect, poor Muslim children are due to a lack of organized action by their own fathers, because mothers aren't even allowed in a mosque generally. But you can blame the mums as well, if you want. I haven't got a problem with that. Are let down, and they don't have that access to extra help that, you know, the Jewish community would have otherwise. Once they graduate, they don't have careers advice from other Muslims in an organised fashion. They might have it because their Uncle Bob Abdullah is an accountant, but it's not. They can't, if their uncle isn't an accountant, then they can't go to the local mosque and have, you know, a professional sitting in that mosque saying, yeah, look, you know, there's a careers day, we'll help you, we'll talk you through the pros and cons of this. You know, we're all willing to help if there was a place for us to organise to do that, but we're not. When no one organises, because no one cares about each other. So again, we're not organised. Jews do care about each other, and they do organise. That makes them 100 times more effective than us. And last but not least, they bunk each other up. Now, can I prove that? No, but I believe it. I'm sure they're going to claim that's anti-Semitic, but I don't really care. I'm sure Jews say to other Jews, hey, guess what? This is a good gig. You might want to get into it. And you know, in that way, they promote each other. I'm sure if there was a Jewish manager, thought wouldn't cross, you know, may cross his mind to help the Jewish guy. Can I prove that? No. Am I sure that happens? No, but I wouldn't be surprised. In effect, in some way, shape or form, I'm sure they help each other. I said last but not least, but one other thing, they have a plan. You know, as a community, they go, their organisations which they fund, do we fund? No, we'll build another mosque for another old man to sit in and kick people out of that he doesn't like. Yeah, so you can have 10 million pounds worth of real estate just sitting there idly. That's nicer than the other 9 million pounds worth of real estate down the road. But they have a plan. So their organisations will say, right, our community, these are statistics of our community in XYZ area. Anti-Semitism is on the rise. Yeah, of course it is, always is. And we need to combat this by doing XYZ. Do our institutions have a similar thing? No, because the ones that do are 10 brothers sitting in their bedroom because they don't even have an office because they can't afford it because you ain't funding it, or the mosques which ain't going to do it because they got your money now and you can go to hell. They don't really care about you. So in effect, there's no plan. There's no plan for the community to get ahead in any way, shape or form. So it's nothing to do with DNA and everything to do with simple calculations in how a community behaves. So I know what I'm saying may make me now into a bracket of wow, these Muslims got Jew status in his intelligence, to you thick Muslims who you know, flipping rotting cabbage might seem intelligent to, but to the general man out there, what I just said is just pure common sense, and it's very, very damning on the Muslim leadership, especially that they haven't done any of it, and even more damning for the semi-intelligent Muslim community that they haven't pushed for it. So there's my thoughts on Jewish intelligence and Muslims' lack of it.